have run into some sort of trouble for this movie in Brazil. If you don't mind, could you tell us a little more about that?
Um, at person, when I presented the film, I was telling you about, in general way, what we face in Brazil now. Particularly this film, it didn't have problems releasing it, but during the shooting in 2017, there were having problems with other artists nearby. So there was a performer that was arrested like 2 months before shooting because of performance he was doing in Brasilia, this city. There was at the same time an exhibition in Porto Alegre, in the south of Brazil, that was closed suddenly because of the issues of this exhibition. And it was an exhibition about sexuality, and it was suddenly shut down. But I mean, we face in Brazil in the 60s, 70s, and 80s a dictatorship, right? And it was a tough moment for art and culture in Brazil, and it's coming back in a way. Not officially, but as they can shut us up, they have 2 years already with the financing for films and culture in general closed. So I was talking to a producer here, and I know the system in India is completely different. You respect movies a lot, so I was kind of thrilled to know that people here can finance films with real money, financiers, and don't need to ask for public money, right? But it's not the way that we work in Brazil. We need public funding. There's the government, in a way, give us money to shoot films. I'll explain. But so it's easy to just cut the financing for films in Brazil. It's the same in Latin America in general. You just don't have money anymore. So they discovered another way to shut us up, in a way. The system there is complicated to explain right now, but it's basically we create, there's a tax there that we pay, so that the money is reversed to filmmaking. So in a way, it's our money. It's not public money, but it's passed through the government, and the government simply cut this. And it's a way to shut us up, and in a way. But independent filmmaking resists in Brazil. But for music, today's, of course, because of the pandemic, it was difficult before, and now it's dramatic. I mean, dramatic. Places were closing down, like you could see the film, and now it's like a war, right? It's like I don't know what to expect when the pandemic ends. Maybe there are no places anymore to play music. And it's such a huge country, it's such a rich country, culturally speaking, right? I mean, music in Brazil is very important, but just for you to understand, people these days in Brazil, they sing songs created by bands from Brazil in the 80s. There was a very important rock music movement there in the 80s, in the 90s. And now the city don't want people to listen to music anymore. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
Brasilia was created as a kind of socialist architecture. You know, the buildings, they are open. You don't have that bars that stop people to cross the buildings. No, they are open, and people are treating them as a close, como dizer, condomínio, as a close complex of buildings, because if people are playing, if young people are just playing a guitar, it happens for real. People are playing and somebody called the police and invented they were using drugs and then arrested them, And we know the guys, and it was really shocking that conservative movement that is going on there. And just to add to what Gustavo said, our system used to be sustainable, all the companies and cinemas and theaters, we pay this tax for the fund, for the filmmaking fund. It's not only for films, it's for TV, games, and all the entertainment industry. And then the government, this new director of the agency, just created many bureaucracies that kind of find a way to don't pay. And they are delaying, and it's more than 700 projects. Stop it there. 700 projects approved to be paid, and they just don't pay. So we are in a big clash there with the movements, the organizations, the social organizations, trying to fight back against them. And let's see what happens.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now be taking only 2 more questions due to time limit, and we need to sanitize the place as well. So any more questions?
Difficulties in the future, and you make much more better films. I have 2 questions. One is, in the movie there was a curfew. What was the curfew about?
There's actually a law in Brasilia. It is called law of silence, which means that after 10 p.m. they don't allow any noise. So it's strange because this law is so strict and so absurd that the limit of noise permitted is less than what a car, the noise of a car, for example. But they won't forbid cars to go there and there. Anyway, but music, of course, is a problem. So some people say it's okay. After 10, you don't have to make noise. But we have places for this, right? They are closed. They have how to say this in English? They are isolated. Some isolated, right? Not to bother the neighborhood. So why don't you? People, the owners of bars and clubs, they invest a lot to have this soundproof places, but they have to pay fees and fees and fees till they finally get to close the doors, And
And then if the place is isolated, people complain about the people that gather around and talking around, that go out for smoking or something and start talking. And many places receive charges, very heavy taxes because of this noise,
And this dialogue between Alex, the owner of the studio, and Karen about the guys playing guitar, acoustic guitar, and got arrested. It actually happened, and it was much before 10 p.m. So it's like the city, it's working to silence our voices, our music, our art. So the law of silence exists, but it's so absurd that starting to arrest people at 7 and at 6. It's crazy.
Thank you so much. The second part is, that's the bass player, correct?
Yes.
Oh, her bass playing is amazing, simply amazing. Well played. Thank you so much.
Actually, the way we found her is very interesting to tell. She works also as a sound designer. Actually, she is a sound designer for films. And she was working in the sound mixing of a previous film by Cristiani. And in São Paulo, the city, right? When we saw there, we thought, whoa, she could be a good Lara, the character Lara. But Cristiani told me that, and I told back to Cristiani, you know I want musicians, because I want them to play for real. Then she left the room, and the other mixer told us, she's a real musician. Really? Don't tell me she played bass guitar. Yeah, she plays bass guitar. Oh my God. And I started talking to her. And I noticed her accent. She has the accent of Brasilia. And where are you from? And she told me, I'm from Brasilia. Oh no, really? Do you want to play in a film for us? And she thought that we are doing, she thought that maybe we were lying to seducing her to do other things, you know? No, it's for real. So now, 2021, she's here in India presenting the film.
Last question. Is anyone wants to ask a question?